versus any other job that goes out there. Everyone that works, on us is treated equally, equal pay. I don't have to worry about equal pay with dealing with, with paycheck inequality because of women. Everyone makes the same amount under our agreement. You're an electrical worker, you're an electrical worker, and that's where we go from that point. And then the job creation, when you're building local, I'm always the guy that you see on the picket line out there saying that we want builders to use local tradesmen and women in our community. Now, that's something that we should be strongly advocating for instead of having to have people drive from everywhere and anywhere coming to a job. Transportation is another difficult issue for people, but if it's in your community, there's always a way to get to the project. So I think this is a fantastic way for us to get great jobs and get people back to work. And they're highly skilled jobs, whether it's technology side, doing fiber optic splicing, whether it's doing electrical transmission or construction wiring or repairing our water infrastructure. It's not just, standard laborers work. It's very skilled, very technical, 5-year apprenticeships. And I can tell you, when you graduate from my local 269, you come out of there and you transfer over to Thomas Edison State College, you already have 34 credits towards your degree. So we're college accredited. So hopefully that kind of gave you a ballpark. It's not a yes, no answer, but it's a great discussion to continue to have.
Yeah. No, I think the opportunities are definitely there to bring in these jobs. And yeah, so along those lines, one question I had actually had to do with unions as well. And so during the pandemic, we saw a lot of essential workers, sort of low wage essential workers, grocery store clerks, warehouse workers, perhaps they didn't have the labor protections that they could have used during, especially in the early days when we didn't know much about how it's spread. And it seems that both in terms of wages and labor protections and benefits, a lot of what we refer to now as essential workers who could benefit from unions. And I would include gig workers in that too. So do you have any thoughts on that? There's also some national attention on this right now with the PRO Act.
Yep. So again, probably the most difficult thing an employee can do is have to approach their owner or their supervisor, whether it's a problem they're having with a fellow coworker, or they're being bullied or harassed, or even just simply asking for a raise, right? It's the most difficult moment that an employee has. Working under, listen, I'm prejudiced, but working under a collective bargaining agreement and being in a union, knowing that, you sometimes don't know how to ask the question. We've seen situations and sit down with our members if there's a problem, and get the legal attention that they need. I'm 100% supported. I think we would better as a society if we had more unions. I was one of with the 1099 or the temp workers. There's so much scare tactics, especially in the newspaper media, right? They were all against it. I had, it was the guy, I'm trying to scratch my head off, the Trentonian, Jeff Edelstein, right? And I had a long conversation with him. And I said, listen, Jeff, you would benefit from, not being a 1099 worker. You're an employee of the Trentonian. You're not just a freelance writer. And why can't you guys have a union? We do it in my union, right? I'm a freelance electrician. We all work under a collective bargaining agreement for multi-employers. And, your organization is organizable into a union. And I kind of had a discussion. He scratched his head and he goes, that's a different discussion for us to have. But again, he's just, or she, whoever they may be, are just concerned about their job. And there's so many fear tactics, and the middle class in this country, I believe, fared much better when organized labor and unions had more of a threshold. And we saw that with the loss of our factories being outsourced and going overseas. Those jobs that were lost aren't just those factory jobs, but they're the construction jobs that go along with it, the transportation jobs. And right across the street from my union hall in Lawrenceville, there's an entity called Shred It, and it's a document storage and shredding facility, and they're under with the Teamsters, which are part of my building trades. they're doing an organizing campaign where they kind of, have a labor board charge already for unfair labor practices, during this organizing drive and trying to, the fear tactics with the employees. So, already terminated an employee for an organizing effort. You can't do that. And the more that employees see that they're supported by their elected officials for doing this right, I think the better off that they were, and to see things grow and treat everyone fair. And I'll leave it with this. There's a lot of people who are out there, raise the minimum wage and, paycheck equality. If everybody was union, won't have the problem.
Yeah, thank you. And I tend to agree. And you look at the big picture. I mean, there's graphs that show, the union membership going down just like over, last couple of decades, and income inequality and wages going. Sorry, yeah, and also going down along with it, and inequality going up. So, from a legislative perspective, is there anything that you think you can do? So I've been starting to learn about this, and it seems like the fear tactics are a big part of the issue, and also on top of that, people, especially younger people, may not know some of the benefits of unions. So there's also some awareness. But I mean, as a legislature, what do you think you can do to improve union percentage in the state?
So some of the things that, what I try to do is, like my difficulty is outreach. I'm in the construction division per se, and there's 15 different crabs that are out there. And as I talking to people, society has not embraced construction and as well, that's something I want to do. Let me hurry up and graduate and run out in the cold in the winter and hot in the summer and do construction work. But when I tell you that a female electrician that's in my union makes, six figures, $105,000 a year plus benefits. You get preferential on the hiring on the out of work list, and trying to court females, especially in the construction industry, is extremely difficult. I've reached out to different women's organizations. Listen, how do we put a job fair? What do I need to do that we can kind of sit down in court? And it's the same thing for inner cities, whether it's whoever it may be, African American to Asian, whatever it may be. Trying to court people to at least apply is a very big challenge, and especially when people don't know what it's like to work construction. They don't necessarily, do I want to do that? I don't know. And in unions in general, just, I think, the more outreach we have, listen, we start talking about nurses with their rights to, organize, or our educators, teachers, they're organized in a union. And just like to speak of the positiveness of that they've received from being and working under a collective bargaining agreement versus those that don't, doing a similar job. It's not, you don't want to compare yourself to someone saying you got it, it's better. You just want to make that opportunity available to everyone. Everyone has that opportunity that can be working. I'm out organizing people all the time, from, small electrical shops, one person to, the larger ones. And that's what I'm out there advocating for.
Thing.
All right, thank you. So we got a question from Rick Austin. He says, you've been an assemblyman for 13 and a half years. And so what do you think are the benefits of running as a Democrat in a partisan election? And does it help you communicate with voters? And as you may know, we are a nonpartisan town here.
Sure, yeah, no, absolutely. So if I had to tell you a little bit about myself, listen, I am kind of a moderate individual. I think sometimes the diversity of our party it gets away from us. We have a hard time once we are in control, communicating and being well-tempered with each other. In the beginning, when I first ran, as a Democrat, I've seen towns change. They, depending on the age of the individual and the community itself, the type of Democrats, we like to lump up all of ourselves into one, but we're such a big, enormous, diverse party that, listen, I think the national party and the state party would serve well, having, little sit downs and discussions of who we are. Let's define ourselves. I'm strongly a Democrat because I believe in the rights of working people to join and form a union. I see the benefit of that, and I'm on the worker side. I'm on the labor side. And I sat there and I fought against the Republicans. And again, I've seen some with the National Party and the ideas that they have against workers and that availability to grow. I just can't support that. But I also had this, strong discussions internally in our party. And there are people in our party that's, look at me and say, you're not our type of Democrat. I go, okay. Doesn't mean that I'm less than a Democrat than anyone else. I'm just maybe not your ideal person to begin with. But that's just, we got to be willing to accept that. And I've seen the diversity of the party through time, not act together very well with each other. And that's something we got to need to work on, whether it's a strategic plan or, to grow ourselves, because we're the party of acceptance, right? And we're just growing, and we need to be, educate everybody on that.
Thank you for that. Yeah, and you're right. We want to be a Big Ten party, and also, like, the way I look at it is look out for as many people as possible in our Big Ten.
Mhm.
So I'm going to hand it over to Melissa right now. She has a question.
Oh, that one.
I didn't hear that much. So what was that?
Hi, no, sorry, that was someone, I don't know, I guess someone's not on mute. So I actually had a question about what you said earlier about the example for the PRO Act that you gave about the Trentonian and their freelance writers. Because I actually am a freelance writer, not for the Trentonian, but I'm a full-time freelance writer. And if you work just for the Trentonian as a writer, then that's great. Like, yeah, you would absolutely rather be an employee. You get paid time off, you get benefits, you get medical, all of that. But in cases like mine, where I'm a full-time freelance writer, also, I have 10 different clients. So it's unreasonable for me to be an employee of 10 different publications, and nor would I want to be an employee of any one of those publications, So my question really is about the ABC test and why that is the gold standard for the PRO Act, and why legislation in New Jersey has chosen to follow the ABC test as well, because it really limits people who are consultants or freelancers who have multiple clients and want to have that lifestyle and that pathway. So I just wanted to know about that.
Yeah, Melissa, just discussing about like you're writing and you're handling that. Listen, the things that we can debate on is whether or not you can work for 10 different employers, or you're the employer yourself. That was a lot of the problems that was happening when we first started the discussion on the 1099 employees. It was, independent drivers coming and working for one company and operating their piece of equipment, and then being, paid a 1099 as if they are the employer, but they weren't the employer. Right. So that started the discussion. And then, as we continue to open that discussion up, is listen, if you are, Melissa Riley LLC, and these 10 other companies that you're writing for, or reporting for, whatever it may be for, are paying you, and then you're operating yourself as a business, that's one thing. But for them to, you can have 10 employees. I can work for 10 electrical contractors. And, in a union, there are people that work for, I'm going to work a day over here. I'm going to work 4 hours for this person. You can figure out what you want. We can make a system for this to work, and you can be their employee, right? And I don't see a problem with you working for 20 employers. You're based on an hourly basis, and whatever it may be. That's my position. That's my feeling on it. You can write something. You're telling them. They're telling you what they're willing to pay, I believe, or you're telling them what you're charging them. The discussion kind of changes views a little bit, and it's why they picked on this national and brought it down to the state system, because the discussion really is just kind of forming itself and needs to continue to grow, because we're seeing a lot of individuals who could potentially be working for 10 different people. I don't see a problem with that. may be a problem. The employers don't want to pay the employer side of the tax and the insurances on you, and maybe provide you with a benefit. And then maybe if that organization you figured out a way, just like the electricians, we have multi-employer trust funds set up for all electrical contractors, and you can be from Alaska, or right here in Robbinsville, and you're paying into the same trust fund for the employee's benefits based on an hourly negotiated worth of work, right? And that's a healthcare, that's pension, that's annuity plan. It's all things that we take care of, and that's my position. We're feeling on it. And again, I listen. And if someone says, okay, Wayne, I don't see that working, I will sit down and we can have a healthy discussion on it. But for you, I see an avenue, right?
Yeah, I don't want to like tie it up too much in like the nitty gritty with the club meeting, but I know that there's been a lot of cases of publications that are based in California, or publications that won't hire writers anymore that are based in California because of the act that got passed in California, that they were trying to basically get a similar one passed here. And it's been a huge hurdle for writers in that state.
Imagine if everybody, if all the states, did what California did, right? Then where would these news entities get their news from? Who would do it, right? That's where the union comes in. Like, okay, you can't do it.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I don't know, but it is a little scary for me as a writer when, my clients in Colorado, they're not here in New Jersey. It's not like I'm writing for the Trentonian. So I just would want you to take that into consideration. I mean, I have 2 clients in New Jersey, so that's just me, but there's a lot of people, a lot of consultants in my position that have out of state clients. And for us, like, it would not work unless it was national.
Right. I understand. Or a way for you to be, again, yeah, I understand what you're saying. Let me just say that we can have
Thank you.
Talk about this for hours, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I'm not going to tie everybody up.
Thank you. So I'm going to hand it back to Rocky. If you want to
There's Rocky.
Your question. Are you there, Rocky?
Yes, Assemblyman, thank you.
I'm sorry, there you are.
Thank you very much for speaking with us today. I'm very happy to hear how positively you're speaking about unions. They've done so much historically, so much. Women who are unionized make a lot more money than women who are not. All people of color have just benefited substantially being unionized. And with this conversation about infrastructure, and given that the unions have always been strong proponents of creating and building diversity in the American workforce, how would an infrastructure bill be beneficial to those who have historically faced inequalities in securing well-paying jobs? How will these unions continue their positive affirmative policies if we move forward with the infrastructure bill?
So I'll give you an example. When a project goes out to bid, right? And they give it to the lowest responsible bidder, then again, that employer, depending on wherever they're coming from, as their existing workforce, and if it's not fortunate enough to be from the area, there's nothing you can do. It's jobs given out, and we've seen that time and time again. I've advocated for project labor agreements, right? So project labor agreements give an awarding entity the opportunity to sit down and with the local community and the contractors, no matter where they are. So if we were to do an infrastructure bill and we were to, hey, listen, we're going to build this, build X, and we want a project labor agreement on it. It gets an individual like me involved, setting up the document to ensure that there is, representation from the community, right? We'll just won't pick on the infrastructure, but I'll pick on when Trenton Marriott was operational, and Mayor Doug Palmer was the mayor of the city of Trenton at the time. He sat down with me as president of the building trades, and the developer, and saying, listen, we got to put a labor agreement on it. And when I tell you that 65% of the workers that were on that project were from the city of Trenton, right? Versus an out of the area you're coming in, developing it and going, see you later, whether they get a tax abatement or not, it's the only way I can see to ensure that local people get a bite at the apple in their community when they're working. Because when the same city rehashed the Broad Street Bank project, the developer from New York came in, they got a tax abatement, and they brought everyone in from out of state working. No New Jersey workers were on the job. And they were, Department of Labor is investigating because they were violating the tax laws. So this is where I see an opportunity to get the local community involved and bite at the apple, see what it's like to work, and no matter what the infrastructure may be or building. And if anyone's got a better idea, it's okay. I'm open to discussion.
Does anybody else have any questions or comments, suggestions?
Well, my usual joke when I ask a question, I usually ask, try to break the ice with people is like, where do babies come from? No one ever asked me that question.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. But yeah, so we probably have just a little bit more time, but yeah, just to say that so an issue that that our club does care very deeply about, we've organized is racial justice, particularly in the area of just policing, as well as lowering the racial wealth gap. That's a big topic, a big discussion, but I guess I'd like to hear your thoughts on, maybe briefly, on what your vision is and what kind of ideas you have to work towards that issue. But I just want reiterate also that just my feeling, and I think a lot of people feel, so your expertise is in labor and unions, and I think that if you talk about going to lower wage positions and figuring out ways for them to improve their wages, I believe that could be very, very helpful for for people of color who tend to have, who are more represented in those jobs for reducing inequality. But anyway, I wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
Right. So Scott, some of the things that, I think that we as a society can do better, is, listen, we did, want to make sure that there's affordable housing in every community. Right. And we fought very long and hard to make sure affordable housing, so that, no matter who you are living in a community, that you have, the opportunity to live there. Right. Whether it's, you're working in a restaurant, or you're a police officer, or you're a nurse, or whatever the job may be, we took strides that way through democratic policies, and and we've seen ups and downs, with everything we've done. I see a big disparity in our middle class, right? And that gap is continuing to grow. So how do we do it, right? So what do we need to set up, whether it's local, at the county level, at the state level? Everyone plays a different part. It's not just the state legislature, trying to come in with a one size fits all wand, because we have, 565 municipalities, and, we have all with elected officials at those local levels. And no one necessarily knows who Wayne DeAngelo is in the assembly, but they know the mayor of their town, right? They know the governor of their state, and the president of the United States. So those local elected officials, that when they're out, they need to educate themselves, to the importance of, ensuring when a company comes in, like we'll pick on Amazon, right? They tried, I know they had an organizing campaign. I'm going to say it's either Arkansas or Alabama, but they just got it defeated. Let's bring that. Let's start up where the unions are strong, right? Not go to one of the weakest areas in the country where union doesn't have a strong density. Let's try that organizing campaign here in New Jersey, right? Let's try it here at Robbinsville, and see how successful we are with the support of, the mayor and council, and the county executive, and the county commissioners, and the legislature standing all with them, and, and see how successful we are, so that, when these monstrosity of a companies, are out there, and don't say that we're going to go out of business if we go union. Listen, I heard it when we did the raise the minimum wage. Every business in the state of New Jersey is going to leave. We're going to fold. We're going to die. We can't survive. Food prices are going to go up. Listen, we're almost halfway there to where we need to be, and we're not devastated, right? These businesses are not devastated, and there's growing pains, and I heard it all, right? And we're just trying to bring people to a livable wage, right? And it needs to be, listen, in my opinion, everyone's spending an enormous amount of money on their education, job trainings, and they're left with this enormous amount of debt. Two of the highest raising price things in this country are education, right, and healthcare, right? Something that it shouldn't be that crazy, but it is. And some people, their healthcare plan is more than what they make. I just, me personally, guys, if I gave my magic wand, I just would give everybody that, make them a union, and then, you know, and then see how things go there. I think we'd be in a better place. But we need to restructure and stabilize our middle class, giving them that step to continue to go. You can't cut 3 or 4 rungs on the ladder and expect to go up, right? So that's my idea, just communication, and, you know, and listen, caring about each other and listening to each other and saying, okay, it's Wayne's point of view. It's not necessarily, God bless you, Ava. It's not just Wayne's point of view. But, you know, it's something that we can have a, you know, one-on-one discussion. Hey, listen, can I have some more information on this, Wayne? What did you mean by that? Because there's other people that have their ideas too. The public sector, right? We're talking about governmental employees, or, you know, the private sector, or building trades, you know, no matter what the task is. You know, I see an opportunity we have to fix the middle class of this country in order to bridge that gap, you know, and let everyone know it's all right not to know, you know, what you want to do. I'm 55, I still don't know what I want to do with my life. And for Ava's me just going, I got to find out what I'm going to do right away. So I hope that gives you a little bit of a synopsis. I don't have all the answers, but I listen and try to think through problems.
All right, thanks a lot, Wayne. Does anybody else have anything else to add? All right, well, yeah, with that, we can sort of give a virtual round of applause and thank you for
Thank
attending
you.
our meeting tonight.
Congratulations, parents.
And
Best of luck, you know, with your election this year.
that's right. That's great. Yeah. So I did notice that Mayor Mirnoff has entered the meeting. Are you there?
I am here.
Okay, hi. Would you like to
Yes,
give
hey.
a quick update?
Sure. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So, and I note as I do that we have 2 of our county commissioner candidates on, Kristen McLaughlin, committee woman from Hopewell Township, and Terrence Stokes. So we've already had a meeting among the 3 of us and Commissioner Sam Frisbee. So obviously some of you had the opportunity to be at the convention. So we tried to make sure that we had a communicative, open and fair convention to reflect what the members and leadership in the county were looking for. And we're moving forward from the results of that convention. So any comments anybody does ever have, or suggestions or improvements, I always do welcome that. So just to give a few other updates. So I did send out, and there'll be another communication tomorrow. So the Mercer County Democratic Committee is planning a fundraiser on Thursday, May 20th at 6 p.m. So this will be our first major fundraiser for 2021. The topic will be focused on national voter suppression efforts. We have Rich McDaniel, who is a longtime political operative and strategist. He's based in Georgia. He will be the keynoter for the event. The governor will also be a special guest at the event, Governor Phil Murphy. So we think it'll be an exciting opportunity to have an important conversation, as well as to raise funds for our 2021 candidates here in Mercer County. Surrogate is up. There are 3 commissioner seats up. And of course, we have a lot of key municipal contests where we intend to be very active on the county level, as we have in the time that I have been chair. So we hope that you'll be able to participate in the fundraiser and in the conversation, be supportive. We have a wide range of participation. If you do have any questions about it, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Also, we have started a series of activist education forums in the county. This is something that's been talked about. We finally got it launched this year. We did a pilot session in the city of Trenton, geared to the city of Trenton. We wanted to sort of get a sense of how it worked and what was helpful. We have some written materials. We had maps there as well. And since that time, I've received reach outs from a number of people in the county saying, what about us? How come we weren't on that? When are you going to do us? So we are planning 2 more right now. One will be focused on Hamilton Township and Robbinsville. I actually had a date. I need to go find it. I think it is May 13th, but I will confirm that in the next couple of days with the leadership, Scott, and we'll also be sending out a message on that. And that's geared for county committee people as well as others who want to be active in the community. So it's certainly not restricted. And, one of the things that I discovered, particularly since being chair and much of the reach out, is that a lot of people feel that they don't even have some of the basics about the municipal committee, the county committee. How do they work? What do they do? What am I supposed to do if I'm a county committee person? What kind of resources are available to us in doing a campaign? In terms of even basic things like district maps, voter lists, systems that we have access to through the party. And so the idea of it is it's really kind of an ABCs, just really basic information, basic resources. And then, we can always build upon it down the line if, depending what the interests are that people have in the party. But it's also a good way to just bring folks together in a different forum and talk about literally, what is the party? How do we get here? How do we build? How do we win elections? What do we want to do in our own communities in terms of reach out? And how can we support candidates in elections? So I think it is May 13th for Hamilton, Robbinsville, and then there'll be a notice going out within the next number of days after I give a heads up to the leadership with respect to that. We're, as I started to say, we're also getting geared up for the elections this year. And, I will indicate that the Republicans have filed full slates and they haven't done that in some recent years. So, that's, I don't want to call it a red flag, but it's certainly don't take anything for granted. And, we need to step up and make sure that we as Democrats have expressed a strong vision going forward. And we let people know what it is that we're doing, what it is we want to do, and how we can make Mercer County a better place, more transparent government for everybody. And all of that needs to be part of our message and our campaign as we reach out to our candidates and our party. So I think those are some of the updates. And again, I'm here, Robbinsville, any way that we can work together, I can be helpful. I would expect, as always, you'd let me know that.
Wonderful. We really appreciate that. And yeah, that's really good opportunities and information there. And yeah, we definitely don't want to take any election for granted. So yeah, it's definitely something that we're going to need to work towards coming into November. Right. So now I have Lisa Lacaruba wants to give an update on the Wear Orange weekend. Are you there, Lisa?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, everyone. Just wanted to give everybody a heads up that Moms Demand Action, which is also a subgroup of Everytown for Gun Safety, it's a gun violence prevention, nonpartisan gun violence prevention organization, sponsors Wear Orange Weekend, which we're really extending out to Wear Orange Week this year. It is the first weekend in June, and we focus on a couple of things. One is we get the mayors of most towns across the country to sign a proclamation recognizing the weekend. Actually, Mayor Janice is a supporter, is absolutely a supporter. We've been able now, I believe Governor Murphy will be signing something for the state. We've had various folks in county offices sign. In Mercer County last year, I believe we had every single mayor except for one sign the proclamation. This year, we're hoping to get everybody. Robbinsville has signed, I want to say the last 2 or 3 years, Mayor Freed has signed. So that's part one. We're also hoping to get school boards to recognize, but that's a little bigger lift than the mayors. The other thing we try and do is paint the community orange. And I have to say, in Mercer County, Trenton is leading the way this year. Their Serenity Garden is going to be all orange. We were able to get the bridge across the Trenton Bridge is now orange lights. I believe the Empire State Building gets orange too, but that's not New Jersey. So one of the things we're asking folks to do is in your businesses and in your homes, the more orange you could put up the first week of June. We also have, there's an official website where orange.org. It's very easy. There's signs, there's flyers, there's brochures, there's things you could put on your house. The other thing you can do, I'll put my email in this. You can email me and I can either provide you with more information or connect you with what you can do to make things orange. Historically, we've done more community focused activities, but with COVID, we gave that up last year. The other thing that we do is if you're doing something particularly creative, more than just a sign in your window, we've had companies that everybody wears orange t-shirts, they wear orange ribbons, they put orange stuff and they take pictures. If you send that to moms, we will post it on our social media as well. So there's for businesses, there's some free advertising there, but we would really love to see more orange around Robbinsville. So I'm the representative just from Robbinsville town who's speaking to this on the Wear Orange committee. Oh,
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Yeah, no, that's there's definitely a lot of room for creativity in terms of what we could do. But yeah, it would be nice to have something in a central location in town, like around Route 33 near the municipal building. I don't know if you can get like orange lights or something to illuminate the building or something. But yeah, it would be really great.
Yeah. Do we need permission? Because
oh yeah, we would want to work with.
Because yeah, we would need to get permission because we were also thinking we could do ribbons across town. There's all sorts of things. If anyone is interested or knows how to go about doing this, also if you could email me, we would love to again, we'd love to be able to do more. So not sure exactly how to go about it, where in the town council you'd go. So if you have more information as far as how Robbinsville works, we can work on it.
Sure thing. Yeah, I'll get in contact with you.
That'd be great.
But yeah, our mayor is, he on paper he sort of supports it. I think it's a little bit iffy, but I think we can get him there because he did show up to, I think last couple of years he showed up to the Wear Orange Day, took the photo, and so it's something that we could work towards. We could push him a little bit perhaps in terms of display.
Yeah, and it's a great. It's just a great cause of recognizing those who have died by gun violence and preventing it moving forward.
Yeah.
Is this the first week of June?
It's the first week of June. Yeah, it's officially June. Wait, I'm just double checking. June 4th and 5th this year. It's always the Friday and Saturday of June. It's in honor of Hadia Pendleton, actually, that was her birthday. She died by gun violence a week after she was in President Obama's second inauguration. Orange was her favorite color. But we would like to stretch it out and have people do it for the whole week.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, we definitely appreciate the leadership here in Mercer County with Moms Demand Action is really excellent. We really appreciate all the work that you're doing. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Sarah Siebel. Want to talk about a fundraiser? You around, Sarah?
Yes. Hi, guys. So I just wanted to put it out there. Senator Greenstein has a fundraiser coming up on April 28th at 5 p.m. It's a virtual fundraiser, a Zoom fundraiser. We are going to be doing a chocolate bark decorating kit. I apologize for the background noise. We have a contentious bath time going on here. We're doing a chocolate bark decorating kit from David Bradley. And we actually have some great speakers. Janice, you'll be speaking at that event. And also
thank you for the great, okay.
Yes, so Janice will be speaking, Chairman McCabe from Middlesex County will be speaking, and Senator Steve Sweeney, who is the president of the Senate, will also be speaking. It's going to be a great event. And if you guys are interested in attending, I think everybody probably has my contact information. If not, I'll put it in the chat. You can shoot me an email and I'll get you the invite so you can have the pricing information. yeah, we'll send you out a chocolate bark making kit from David Bradley, and they'll get on and hop on and teach us how to make everything. So I just wanted to put that out to everybody. That's again, April 28th at 5 p.m.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much for bringing that to our attention. Does anybody else have anything else to add before we close out the meeting? All right. Well, listen, thank you. We had a great showing today. I really appreciate everybody coming, and yeah, really appreciated Assemblyman DeAngelo's remarks and having that interaction. And so, yeah, we have our meeting in May. We have a great speaker lined up from the New Jersey Environmental League. So we hope to see you all there. Thank you very much.
Good. Okay, great. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Scott. Thank you so much. Okay, great to see everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all.
Thank everybody.
Okay.
Great
Thank you
meeting.
all.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye now.